Join us for the Advanced ISO 14064 GHG Management and Verification Professional course, designed to master global greenhouse gas accounting, reporting, and verification. Welcome to CDG Training's Advanced ISO 14064 GHG Management and Verification Professional course. This program is crafted for professionals eager to master the science, structure, and practice of greenhouse gas accounting at the highest level. In the era of a climate accountability revolution, the demand for accurate, transparent, and verifiable greenhouse gas data is universal. Professionals who understand these frameworks are in high demand, making ISO 14064 expertise crucial. ISO 14064 is a globally recognized standard providing a clear framework for quantifying, monitoring, reporting, and verifying greenhouse gas emissions, reflecting advances in climate science and evolving reporting needs. ISO 14064 is divided into three parts: organizational inventories, GHG projects, and verification and validation, forming a comprehensive ecosystem for end-to-end GHG management. This course is tailored for working professionals familiar with climate science, aiming to deepen their knowledge in advanced GHG accounting, from sustainability managers to policy advisors. Embark on a structured learning journey through all three parts of ISO 14064, covering GHG fundamentals, data quality, project-level accounting, and verification methodologies. ISO 14064 provides a unified language for GHG accounting, solving multinational challenges and ensuring sustainability data is credible and globally comparable. Understanding core terminology is essential before diving into technical content. These terms form the vocabulary of every chapter ahead, from greenhouse gases to verification. Globally, ISO 14064 is gaining legal and commercial traction, with regions like the EU, UK, Asia Pacific, and North America embedding its standards into climate policy. Each chapter is a standalone unit with clear objectives and real-world examples, designed to build on previous knowledge and prepare you for professional certification. Explore how ArcelorMittal adopted ISO 14064 at a global scale, integrating it into their emissions reporting and aligning with international regulatory frameworks. ISO 14064 is the global language of greenhouse gas accountability, equipping you with the tools to speak it fluently and professionally, impacting your career and sustainability. Parts, purpose, and global relevance, exploring the full architecture of the ISO 14064 series, understanding not just what each part contains, but why it was designed that way and how the three parts work together as an integrated system. ISO 14064 was first published in 2006 by the International Organization for Standardization, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. Its creation was driven by a growing global need for a consistent, credible, and internationally accepted methodology for greenhouse gas accounting. Before ISO 14064 existed, organizations relied on a fragmented mix of national frameworks, industry guidelines, and voluntary protocols, leading to inconsistent data and limited comparability across borders. The modernized standard incorporated significant new guidance in 2018 and 2019. Focusing on supply chain emissions accounting, data quality management, and alignment with Paris Agreement goals. Part 1 provides the requirements and guidance for designing, developing, managing, and reporting an organizational-level GHG inventory. It defines the scope of operations included in emissions accounting, which entities and facilities are covered. It specifies which types of emission sources are included, direct and indirect emission sources across the value chain. It establishes rules for selecting emission factors, handling data gaps, and producing a complete and accurate GHG inventory report. 6 greenhouse gases are covered, including CO2, CH4, N2O, HFCs, PFCs, and SF6. All gases recognized under the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement are covered under Part 1. Part 2 shifts the focus from measuring emissions to designing and quantifying the impact of specific projects intended to reduce or remove GHGs from the atmosphere. It involves identifying the project, establishing a baseline, calculating the reduction, and generating carbon credits. The quantified difference forms the foundation for participation in voluntary or compliance carbon markets. Part 3 governs the independent verification and validation of GHG statements produced under Parts 1 and 2. Verification involves an independent, competent body examining an organization's GHG inventory or project report, confirming it meets necessary criteria. Validation applies specifically to GHG project plans, assessing whether a proposed project is likely to achieve its stated emission reductions before implementation begins. Part 3 ensures third-party assurance is rigorous, objective, and globally consistent. The true power of ISO 14064 lies in how its three parts connect to form a complete GHG management lifecycle. CDG training presents this as a continuous improvement cycle mirroring the broader ISO management system standards. Part 1 builds the inventory and understands the organization's full emission profile. Part 2 designs and implements targeted projects that reduce emissions. Part 3 ensures both inventory and project outcomes are independently verified to achieve consistent, accurate, and reliable data. This cycle mirrors the philosophy of ISO 14001, environmental management, and ISO 9001, quality management. Many professionals encounter both ISO 14064 and the GHG protocol. The two are closely aligned but serve distinctly different purposes. The GHG Protocol, developed by the World Resources Institute and the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, focuses on practical accounting and reporting tools, detailed and prescriptive guidance, and is widely adopted in corporate sustainability reporting. ISO 14064, an international standard published by the International Organization for Standardization, offers more principles-based and broader guidance, designed to support third-party verification and is widely applicable for verifying the inventory. In practice, many organizations use the GHG protocol to build their inventory and then apply ISO 14064 Part 3 to have that inventory independently verified, combining the strengths of both frameworks. ISO 14064 has been formally adopted or referenced by regulatory and voluntary frameworks across the globe. The United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change recognizes ISO 14064 as a credible methodology for GHG accounting in national communications. The International Accreditation Forum and national accreditation bodies in over 50 countries use ISO 14064 Part 3 as the basis for accrediting GHG verification bodies. ISO 14064 is referenced within the EU Emissions Trading System Verification Guidelines, a cornerstone of European climate policy. Canada, Australia, and South Africa have incorporated ISO 14064 aligned methodologies into their official national carbon reporting systems. Several misconceptions can create confusion for professionals entering this field. Understanding what ISO 14064 is, and is not, is essential for accurate application. It is not only for large corporations, it applies to small and medium enterprises, government agencies, educational institutions, and non-profit organizations. Certification does not mean carbon neutrality. Verified reporting and reduction does not mean an organization has achieved neutrality. ISO 14064 is not the same as other standards. ISO 14067 focuses on the carbon footprint of individual products, while ISO 14064 addresses organizations and their operations. Importantly, they are complementary, not interchangeable. Misapplying these concepts in professional practice can lead to inaccurate reporting and failed verification audits. Anglo American, one of the world's largest diversified mining companies, operates extensively in South Africa, facing both regulatory pressure under the National Greenhouse Gas Emission Reporting Regulations and voluntary obligations to major investors through CDP disclosure. They adopted ISO 14064 Parts 1 and 3, creating a verified, consolidated GHG inventory covering mining, processing plants, and logistics operations. They satisfied regulatory requirements from the South African Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment and earned top CDP scores. demonstrating how ISO 14064 can bridge regulatory compliance and voluntary leadership in a single unified reporting system. ISO 14064's three-part structure, measure, reduce, verify, creates a complete and credible GHG management system. Mastering all three parts is what separates a capable professional from a truly advanced one. Part 1 involves building a rigorous, boundary-defined organizational GHG inventory. Part 2 focuses on designing credible projects with verified baselines and quantified outcomes. Part 3 applies independent, globally consistent assurance to all GHG statements. CDG trainings modules are structured to build mastery across all three parts, equipping professionals for the full GHG management lifecycle. Understanding where your organization's greenhouse gas responsibility begins and ends is crucial in GHG management. ISO 14064 Part 1 guides organizations through defining their organizational boundary, ensuring accountability and operational boundaries are clear. Emission sources included in the inventory are categorized by emission scopes. Emission sources are any activities that release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These include combustion, refrigerant leaks, waste decomposition, and energy consumption. Identifying significant emission sources is essential for an accurate GHG report. ISO 14064 Part 1 offers two methods for setting organizational boundaries: control and equity share approaches. The control approach focuses on financial control, while the equity share approach is based on ownership stake. Consistent application of these methods is vital for transparency. Scope 1 emissions are direct emissions from sources owned or controlled by the organization. These include mobile combustion, stationary combustion, process emissions, and fugitive emissions. Quantifying these emissions is straightforward and necessary for accurate reporting. Scope 2 emissions are indirect emissions from purchased energy. They are calculated using either the location-based method or the market-based method. Consistent application of these methods ensures transparency in reporting. Scope 3 emissions are other indirect emissions in the value chain, both upstream and downstream. They can represent over 70% of a company's carbon footprint. Understanding these emissions is crucial, even though reporting is voluntary. ISO 14064 Part 1 requires organizations to focus on significant emission sources. This involves estimating sources, applying thresholds, and documenting inclusion. This ensures resources are focused on impactful areas. Defining the operational boundary involves categorizing every facility, process, and vehicle. This includes Scope 1, Scope 2, and optionally Scope 3 emissions. It serves as the reference for assessing inventory completeness. Common errors in boundary setting include omitting fugitive emissions, inconsistent control application, and failure to update boundaries. Avoiding these pitfalls is essential for credible GHG verification. DHL's boundary setting process involved defining operational control for Scope 1 and 2, and voluntary inclusion of Scope 3. This strategic action aligns with their decarbonization strategy, showcasing the importance of precise boundary setting. Defining organizational and operational boundaries is the blueprint of your GHG inventory. It involves emission scopes, significance thresholds, and verification readiness, ensuring a credible and auditable inventory. A greenhouse gas inventory is more than just numbers, it's a structured system that ensures transparency and accuracy. In this training, you'll learn to design and implement a robust GHG inventory system, meeting ISO 14064 Part 1 requirements. We'll explore key components, governance structures, and the importance of documentation. ISO 14064 Part 1 outlines 5 core attributes for a quality GHG inventory: relevance, completeness, consistency, accuracy, and transparency. These attributes ensure the inventory is meaningful, comprehensive, and reliable. Clear governance and roles are crucial in a GHG inventory system. Assign responsibilities to ensure accuracy and credibility, involving managers, engineers, finance, and review teams. Designing the architecture of a GHG inventory involves mapping data flows from collection to reporting. Use digital management platforms to automate data collection and reduce errors. Emission factors convert activity data into greenhouse gas emissions. Use authoritative sources like IPCC guidelines and national databases to ensure accuracy and consistency in calculations. The base year serves as a benchmark for tracking emission reductions. Establish a recalculation policy to maintain meaningful comparisons over time, especially during structural changes. Implementing internal data quality controls is essential for producing a credible report. Use cross-checking, anomaly detection, and audit trails to ensure data integrity and verification readiness. Perfect data is rare, so estimation techniques fill gaps. Use engineering calculations, industry averages, and supplier data to ensure estimates are reliable and consistently applied. Comprehensive documentation is crucial for GHG inventories. Maintain records for boundary definitions, data sources, and emission factors to ensure transparency and verification readiness. Infosys implemented a centralized GHG inventory system, aligning with ISO 14064 Part 1. This practical example shows how structured design and governance can transform reporting into strategic advantage. A strong GHG inventory system relies on robust governance, clean data flows, rigorous quality controls, and thorough documentation. These elements inspire confidence and drive genuine climate action. In the world of GHG accounting, numbers without quality are meaningless. A greenhouse gas inventory may be technically complete, yet it still requires verification if the underlying data is unreliable or poorly documented. Data quality management ensures every piece of activity data, every emission factor, and every calculation meets the highest standards of accuracy, completeness, and transparency. ISO 14064 Part 1 establishes a data quality framework with 5 interconnected quality indicators: completeness, consistency, accuracy, transparency, and relevance. These indicators are interdependent dimensions that together determine the overall credibility of the inventory. ISO 14064 Part 1 recognizes a hierarchy of data quality, from the most reliable at the top to the least reliable at the bottom. Organizations should strive to move up this hierarchy, replacing lower quality data with higher quality sources wherever possible. A robust internal data quality management system for a GHG inventory consists of 4 key components: data collection protocols, data validation rules, a documented audit trail, and formal review and sign-off. These components create a system that is both rigorous and auditable. Data quality failures in GHG inventories can lead to significant consequences, including the risk of adverse verification outcomes. Common failures include transcription errors, unit conversion mistakes, outdated emission factors, and missing data submissions. Uncertainty in a GHG inventory refers to the range within which the true emission figure is likely to fall. ISO 14064 Part 1 requires organizations to assess, document, and report this uncertainty to maintain confidence in the numbers and to understand the precision of the reported figures. ISO 14064 Part 1 recognizes 4 methods for quantitative uncertainty assessment: error propagation, Monte Carlo simulation, hybrid approach, and simplified rules. These methods help organizations understand and manage the uncertainty in their GHG inventories. Materiality ensures that data quality resources are directed toward the emission sources that matter most. ISO 14064 Part 1 acknowledges that it is neither practical nor necessary to apply the same level of data quality rigor to every emission source. Data quality management is a continuous improvement process. ISO 14064 Part 1 encourages organizations to establish a formal data quality improvement plan, identifying the highest priority gaps, setting targets for the next reporting cycle, and tracking progress year to year. Mahindra Group, a leading conglomerate, discovered significant savings and improved accuracy in their GHG inventory by implementing an ISO 14064 aligned data quality management system. This resulted in reduced uncertainty and enhanced emissions reporting. Data quality is not a bureaucratic obligation. It's the scientific integrity of your GHG inventory. Every investment in better data collection, rigorous validation, and honest uncertainty assessment is an investment in the credibility and impact of your organization's climate commitments. Most GHG management strategies focus on reducing emissions, but there's another side to the equation: removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. This chapter explores carbon removals, carbon sinks, and how carbon credits can be a strategic tool for achieving net zero emissions. A GHG removal, as defined under ISO 14064 Part 1, involves extracting greenhouse gases from the atmosphere and storing them. This process is crucial for distinguishing genuine emission reductions. The standard requires identifying, quantifying, and reporting GHG removals separately from emissions. Natural carbon sinks like forests, soils, and oceans absorb more carbon than they release, playing a vital role in managing atmospheric GHG concentrations. Understanding these sinks is essential for land use and carbon projects under ISO 14064 Part 2. Beyond natural sinks, engineered carbon removal technologies are vital for scalable solutions. These include BECCS, direct air capture, and enhanced weathering, each at various stages of development, providing a framework for future carbon removal efforts. Carbon credits are certificates representing the reduction of 1 metric ton of CO2. They can be compliance credits within regulated systems or voluntary credits for organizations seeking to offset emissions beyond regulatory obligations. ISO 14064 Part 2 governs carbon credit projects by providing a framework for designing and monitoring emissions reductions. It includes project baselines, emission reduction calculations, additionality, and permanence to ensure long-term impact. Carbon credit projects must pass tests for additionality, permanence, and leakage to ensure environmental integrity. These tests are crucial for maintaining the credibility of carbon credits and preventing exposure to verification failure. The voluntary carbon market is growing rapidly, with projections reaching $50 billion by 2030. However, it faces scrutiny over quality and integrity, with standards like Verifier and Gold Standard leading the way in ensuring high-quality credits. Organizations use carbon credits as part of their GHG management strategy to reduce emissions, compensate for residuals, and claim neutrality. This approach should prioritize direct emission reductions before relying on credits. The Envira Amazonia project is a flagship REDD+ initiative in the Amazon, demonstrating the potential of large-scale forest carbon projects. It highlights the importance of rigorous standards and verification processes under ISO 14064 Part 3. GHG removals and carbon credits are powerful tools for climate progress. When governed by standards like ISO 14064, they translate environmental action into measurable, verifiable, and tradable units, supporting net zero strategies. Welcome to Chapter 7, where we delve into the critical components of GHG accounting: emission factors, activity data, and uncertainty assessment. This chapter is part of the ISO 14064 GHG accounting training curriculum. Every ton of CO2 equivalent reported in a GHG inventory is derived from activity data and emission factors. This chapter will guide you on selecting and applying these factors, ensuring accuracy and compliance with ISO 14064 standards. Activity data quantifies GHG generating activities, such as fuel consumption or waste disposal. Reliable data comes from metered measurements, verified invoices, and calibrated sensors, forming the backbone of accurate GHG reporting. Choosing the correct emission factors is crucial for accurate GHG reporting. Whether using national factors, industry databases, or CDG standards, documentation and justification are key to compliance. ISO 14064 and the GHG protocol recommend tiered approaches for emission quantification. From default factors to direct measurement, each tier offers varying levels of accuracy and should be documented for each emission source. Uncertainty in GHG inventories arises from various sources. By using parameter, sampling, and model uncertainty assessments, organizations can quantify and manage these uncertainties effectively. A steel manufacturer faced a 25% uncertainty in emissions reporting. By implementing continuous monitoring systems, they reduced this uncertainty significantly, demonstrating the impact of targeted strategies. Precision in activity data and emission factor selection is essential, not optional. Conduct structured assessments and apply rigorous standards to ensure accuracy and compliance with ISO 14064 protocols. Welcome to Chapter 8, where we delve into the verification process, focusing on planning, evidence, and reporting. This is crucial for ensuring credible and independently assured statements. The verification process transforms raw data into credible statements through structured planning, evidence gathering, and forming a verification opinion. This chapter guides you through each professional step. Verification begins with thorough planning and risk assessment, identifying significant emission sources and strategizing verification plans. High-risk areas receive greater attention to ensure accuracy. Document review involves examining all GHG-related records for accuracy, confirming emission factors, and ensuring data traceability. This is the gold standard of evidence quality. Site visits are essential for verifying operations, inspecting equipment, and conducting interviews. These visits ensure that reported data aligns with on-ground activities. Verification findings highlight discrepancies and allow for corrective actions before finalizing the opinion. This iterative process ensures a rigorous verification engagement. The verification process concludes with a formal report and opinion, detailing the scope, methodology, unresolved findings, and a signed verification statement. A real estate investment trust case study shows how verification uncovered discrepancies in energy data, demonstrating the value of rigorous verification. A professional verification engagement is a systematic journey from evidence to opinion, ensuring transparency and credibility in GHG disclosures. Designing a GHG project is only the beginning. The true test of any emission reduction or removal initiative lies in what happens after implementation, in the precise quantification of the climate benefit delivered over the project's design intentions. Monitoring and quantification are the bridge between a project's design and its verified outcomes, converting field measurements into credible, reportable, and verifiable data. ISO 14064 Part 2 emphasizes the importance of monitoring in ensuring a project's credibility. A well-designed project with a credible baseline produces no verified climate benefit unless it is systematically and transparently measured throughout the crediting period. Every GHG project under ISO 14064 Part 2 must have a formal monitoring plan. This plan specifies what will be measured, how it will be measured, by whom, and at what frequency, ensuring that all data is processed, stored, and reported accurately. Monitoring for energy efficiency, renewable energy, and industrial process projects involves comparing measured energy consumption before and after interventions, using calibrated sub-meters tailored specifically for the project. Nature-based GHG projects face unique monitoring challenges due to their variability and susceptibility to natural disturbances. Integrating field measurements with remote sensing technologies is now considered best practice for large-scale forest carbon monitoring. Once monitoring data is collected and validated, it must be processed through a defined quantification methodology to calculate the net climate benefit of the project, expressed as tons of carbon dioxide equivalent reduced or removed compared to the baseline scenario. Leakage is one of the most technically challenging aspects of GHG project quantification. Proper monitoring and management are critical to the integrity of carbon credits, requiring developers to assess leakage risks during the project design and crediting period. Reversal risk is a critical consideration for projects storing carbon in biological or geological reservoirs. Buffer pool mechanisms are used to cancel credits for the re-released carbon, ensuring the long-term integrity of carbon credits despite potential reversals. The volume and complexity of monitoring data require a secure data management system, preparation of comprehensive monitoring reports, and submission for third-party assurance to ensure clarity, completeness, and accuracy. The Bandeirantes landfill gas project in São Paulo, Brazil, exemplifies successful GHG project monitoring. It captures methane to generate electricity, demonstrating how rigorous monitoring transforms a waste management operation into a high-integrity carbon market participant. Monitoring is not the final step in a GHG project. It is the ongoing heartbeat of the entire carbon accounting system. The quality of every carbon credit depends on the rigor, consistency, and transparency of the monitoring system that produced the numbers behind it. In the realm of greenhouse gas accounting, credibility hinges on the verification process. ISO 14064 Part 3 offers a robust framework for ensuring that GHG statements are accurate and reliable, transforming self-reported data into trusted climate information. GHG verification under ISO 14064 Part 3 is a systematic process that evaluates an organization's greenhouse gas assertions. It ensures these statements are complete, consistent, and transparent, providing assurance of their credibility. Understanding the distinction between validation and verification is crucial. Validation is prospective, assessing plans before implementation, while verification is retrospective, examining actual outcomes to ensure accuracy and reliability. ISO 14064 Part 3 outlines 7 principles essential for GHG verification: independence, competence, ethical conduct, fair presentation, confidentiality, evidence-based approaches, and risk assessment, ensuring a comprehensive evaluation. ISO 14064 Part 3 recognizes 2 assurance levels: reasonable and limited. Each offers a different depth of examination, impacting the confidence level in the verification opinion, with reasonable assurance providing a higher level of confidence. Materiality is key in GHG verification, determining the significance of errors or omissions. A misstatement is material if it could influence decisions, with a typical threshold set at 5% of total reported emissions. Before verification, a formal risk assessment is crucial. It evaluates the likelihood of material errors, control risks, and detection risks, ensuring that the verification process is thorough and effective. Verification criteria are the standards against which GHG assertions are assessed. These criteria ensure that the assertions are substantiated, relevant, and clearly defined, providing a solid foundation for verification. Verification opinions can be unmodified, qualified, adverse, or a disclaimer. Each type reflects the level of confidence in the GHG statement's accuracy, impacting regulatory compliance and market credibility. The EU emissions trading system requires airlines to monitor and verify emissions. This practical example highlights the application of ISO 14064 Part 3 principles in ensuring accurate and compliant emissions reporting. Key takeaways include the importance of independent assurance, the 7 core principles, understanding the 2 levels of assurance, and achieving professional mastery in GHG verification processes. From principles to practice in GHG verification, this chapter guides you through executing a verification engagement from start to finish, transforming theoretical knowledge into professional practice. The verification process begins with engagement acceptance, ensuring competence and independence before any work begins. This phase is crucial to maintain objectivity and integrity throughout the process. Once accepted, a formal verification plan is developed, outlining scope, objectives, and criteria. This plan is a living document, essential for ensuring resources are allocated effectively and risks are managed. The document review and desktop assessment phase involves collecting and analyzing documentation to support the GHG assertion. This foundational step identifies any verification issues early on. Site visits and physical inspections are mandatory for reasonable assurance engagements, providing direct evidence that cannot be obtained from documents alone. A structured sampling strategy is applied, focusing on high-risk data categories and ensuring data is correctly recorded and applied in the final inventory calculation. Analytical procedures and trend analysis are used to assess the overall consistency of the GHG statement, identifying significant deviations that require further investigation. Verification findings are managed through corrective action requests and formal issue logs, ensuring that the final verification opinion is fully supported by evidence. After all procedures are completed, the verification body forms its professional opinion on the GHG statement, ensuring comprehensive and accurate evaluation. A practical example of GHG inventory verification at a major UK retailer illustrates the application of ISO 14064 Part 3 verification in practice, enhancing transparency and accountability. A GHG verification engagement is a disciplined, evidence-driven investigation, with key stages ensuring credibility and accountability in the final opinion. Competence, independence, and ethics form the backbone of GHG verifiers. Every verification opinion under ISO 14064 Part 3 is ultimately the product of human judgment. The credibility of a GHG statement hinges on these three attributes, ensuring the integrity of the global carbon assurance system. Competence in GHG verification is a multifaceted skill, combining technical knowledge, sector expertise, and practical experience. ISO 14064 Part 3 defines competence as the ability to apply knowledge and skills to achieve intended results in GHG verification. ISO 14064 Part 3 and ISO 14065 organize verifier competence across technical, sectoral, and procedural domains. A fully competent GHG verifier must demonstrate proficiency in all these areas to ensure comprehensive verification. GHG verification competence is dynamic, requiring continuous professional development. This includes technical training, research, inter-verifier exercises, and professional memberships to maintain and enhance verifier skills. Independence is crucial for objective assurance in GHG verification. It involves freedom from relationships that could impair objectivity, ensuring that verifiers provide unbiased and reliable opinions. ISO 14064 Part 3 and ISO 14065 establish structural safeguards to protect the integrity of verification. These include no contingency fees, mandatory rotation, technical reviews, and a complaints process to ensure independence. Ethical conduct is essential in GHG verification, requiring integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, and professional behavior. These principles ensure that verification is conducted with the highest standards of professionalism. Accreditation is the formal recognition of a verification body's competence. It involves a comprehensive process to ensure impartiality and capability, making it a crucial component of regulated carbon markets. Singapore's carbon tax framework highlights the importance of strict competence requirements, independence prohibition, and recognized credibility. This framework sets a high standard for verifier quality in Asia. A verification opinion is only as strong as the verifier behind it. Deep technical competence, uncompromising independence, and unwavering ethical conduct are the pillars that ensure the credibility of every verification opinion. Greenhouse gas reporting is a crucial scientific and professional discipline, essential for organizations to translate their verified GHG data into clear, credible, and comparable reports. This chapter explores the frameworks that support this process, helping organizations meet the demands of stakeholders and regulatory bodies worldwide. ISO 14064 Part 1 outlines the requirements for GHG reporting, covering organization boundaries, base year recalculation, emission scope, methodologies, data, uncertainties, and assurance statements. These elements ensure comprehensive and accurate GHG reports. The GHG Protocol Corporate Standard is the most widely used framework for GHG accounting, defining scopes for direct and indirect emissions. It aligns closely with ISO 14064 Part 1, providing a comprehensive approach to GHG reporting and verification. CDP is the leading global disclosure platform, engaging thousands of companies to report on climate, water, and forest impacts. It emphasizes the importance of understanding disclosure requirements and scoring to enhance sustainability strategies. The TCFD provides recommendations for climate-related financial disclosures, focusing on governance, strategy, risk management, and metrics. It helps organizations understand and disclose climate risks and opportunities. The ISSB was established to develop a comprehensive global framework for sustainability-related disclosures. It focuses on consistent and comparable reporting, aligning with the GHG Protocol and TCFD recommendations. The EU Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive mandates comprehensive sustainability disclosures for large companies, aligning with European standards. It emphasizes assurance requirements to ensure data reliability. The SEC's climate disclosure rules require companies to disclose GHG emissions and related risks, ensuring transparency and compliance with global standards. These rules address legal challenges and the evolving regulatory landscape. The Science-Based Targets Initiative aligns corporate emission reduction commitments with the Paris Agreement, promoting scientifically grounded targets. It supports companies in setting and achieving ambitious climate goals. Unilever's integrated GHG reporting showcases the practical application of multiple frameworks, ensuring comprehensive and verified emissions data. This example highlights the importance of strategic planning and execution in GHG reporting. GHG reporting and disclosure are now essential, legally enforced obligations. Professionals must navigate a complex landscape of global frameworks, ensuring verified data, rigorous methodology, and expert guidance to meet sustainability goals. Integrating ISO 14064 does not exist in isolation. In the real world of corporate sustainability, ISO 14064 is one critical component of a much broader ecosystem of environmental, social, and governance commitments, voluntary disclosure platforms, net zero initiatives, and other decarbonization roadmaps. Advanced GHG professionals must understand not only how to measure and verify emissions with technical precision, but also how to connect that precision to the strategic frameworks that organizations use to communicate and manage climate risk, attract sustainable investment, and meet their broader ESG commitments. ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance, a framework used by investors, analysts, and rating agencies to assess the sustainability performance and sustainable growth and risk profile of organizations beyond traditional financial metrics. GHG emissions data, and measurements verified under ISO 14064, are the heart of the environmental pillar of ESG, making it one of the most heavily weighted and carefully scrutinized metrics in ESG assessments. ESG rating agencies collect, analyze, and score corporate sustainability data to produce ESG ratings that inform investment decisions across global capital markets. Verification provides the independent assurance that rating agencies need to trust the numbers they're scoring. The explosive growth of green finance has created a major demand driver for verified GHG data under ISO 14064. The green and sustainability-linked bond market is expected to exceed $1 trillion in cumulative issuance by 2024, making verified GHG data a contractual financial obligation for hundreds of the world's largest and most influential companies. While CDP disclosure was introduced as a reporting framework, its strategic value extends well beyond compliance with investor requests. Companies that achieve the CDP scores, CDP A-list status, gain access to customers, investors, and partners that are committed to decarbonization in climate strategy, target setting, and risk management. Net zero has become the defining climate commitment of the corporate world, with over 9,000 companies globally having made some form of net zero pledge by 2025. But net zero is not a single, universally defined concept. Different frameworks define it differently, with varying requirements for verification, reduction depth, and the role of carbon removals and offsets. A credible corporate net zero roadmap is one that translates an organization's net zero commitment into a series of specific actions, investments, and milestones designed to achieve the required level of emission reduction by the target date. For most organizations, Scope 3 emissions, those occurring in the value chain beyond direct operational control, represent the largest and most strategically challenging component of the net zero challenge. Climate transition plans are detailed documents that show how an organization intends to align its business model, capital allocation, and operational strategy with a low-carbon economy. A low-carbon economy, or rapidly moving from voluntary strategic planning to regulated disclosure requirement. Microsoft's commitment represents one of the most ambitious and technically sophisticated net zero strategies in the corporate world. Microsoft's approach is grounded in comprehensive ISO 14064 aligned GHG inventory covering. ISO 14064 is not just a technical measurement standard, it is the evidentiary backbone of every credible ESG rating, every verified net zero claim, every sustainability-linked financial instrument, and every climate transition plan that organizations use to demonstrate their commitment to a low-carbon future. You've journeyed through a comprehensive course, from foundational architecture to strategic GHG expertise. Now, you're equipped to convert your learning into professional recognition. The demand for GHG professionals is growing due to mandatory regulations, carbon markets, and science-based targets. This trend is expected to continue globally. Explore diverse career pathways in GHG management, from corporate sustainability teams to government organizations, each offering unique roles and opportunities. Advanced GHG professionals must demonstrate technical mastery, analytical proficiency, and strategic capability to stand out in the field. Several certifications are available for GHG professionals, each recognizing different areas of expertise and enhancing career prospects. Building a professional profile in GHG management involves gaining experience, engaging with professional communities, publishing work, and participating in standards development. Stay ahead in GHG management by embracing emerging technologies like satellite monitoring, AI, blockchain, and new sector carbon pricing. Apply your ISO 14064 expertise immediately in various professional settings, from organizations to advisory roles, and enhance your career. Get certified with CDG training through a flexible, online program that includes self-paced study and digital certification. Experience a fully automated online learning journey with CDG training, from accessing materials to certification, all at your own pace. A case study illustrates career transformation through ISO 14064 certification, highlighting the potential for professional growth and impact. Your expertise in ISO 14064 is a passport to impactful, in-demand, and future-proof roles in the global sustainability economy. Enroll today with CDG training to advance your career in GHG management and join a global community of professionals. CDG training is your partner in achieving professional excellence in GHG management, offering mastery, strategic integration, and recognition.